Gloucester Dragons. I'm currently the vice president, acting with Fred, our secretary, for the president's role, because the president's role is vacant at the moment. With me tonight is our director of coaching, Maryse Harris. Maryse is the one with the Dragons logo up, and you can see the Dragons logo. She's having problems with her camera. Maryse has been a long-time coach with us for the Dragons and joined us as director of coaching. So Maryse and I will be doing the presentation and answering your questions. My email, if you have questions later on or during the season, it's vp@dragonsoccer.ca, and Maryse's email is even easier to remember. It's coaching@dragonsoccer.ca. All of our information is on the website as well. So Dragon Soccer coach information session. Here's the agenda. Introductions. So I just did that for Maryse and I. Why coach at the Dragons? We're going to talk about that. What does it take to become a Dragons coach? Benefits of being a Dragons coach. Head coach incentive program for U7 to U18. The coaching do's and don'ts. A little bit about Rowan's Law and coaching resources that we have on our website for you. So why coach? Oh, why coach of the Dragons? Maybe I could get everybody to mute. I don't know if I can mute people from here or not, but if you guys can mute. Why coach of the Dragons? Obviously, get involved in your kids' activities. For the younger kids, probably at least until U15, you're going to be going to the fields anyway. You may as well participate in your kids' activities. Community involvement, of course. It's great to give back to the community. Imparting your wisdom and experience to kids. Opportunities, obviously, to bring new ideas to the club, improvements to the club. Every year we have a coach appreciation night where we ask coaches for input, what we can do better, where we can all always improve. You know, we're all volunteers, except for our office manager. Maryse and I are volunteers, so we do this because we love soccer and we love to have the kids have a good time. And I'm sure that's probably all why you're coaching as well. And last but not least, if you get out there and play with the kids, it's a great workout. You get a bit of exercise as a coach too. What does it take to become a Dragons coach? Patience, positive attitude, calm temperament, ability to manage different behaviors, especially more maybe at the younger age groups, but it can happen at all age groups, and a certain commitment. Although there is a commitment, I'm going to mention in one of the later slides that it's not all up to the head coach to do everything on the team. Like there's a team full of kids and all the kids have parents, so the parents can certainly help out. Benefits again, satisfaction. I mentioned that from imparting your knowledge and experience to kids. The kids do appreciate your efforts and they will have a lot of fun. We have a coaching incentive program for coaches who are head coaches from U7 to U18. I'll talk about that. And the coaching appreciation night at the end of the year, where we invite all of the coaches to come on to the Dragons office, and we have a little social evening. We do our Coach of the Year awards. Everybody has free food, free pizza, free, I forget what we had last year, shawarmas maybe, or sandwiches, or paninis maybe it was, I forget, plus free drinks, etc. Some of the forms to complete. There's a coaching application form. Many of you may have already filled it out. If you're thinking about becoming a coach, please fill out the coaching application form. We will get you to do a police records check for the vulnerable sector. It's free if you request a letter from the Dragons to send it into the police office. They don't charge you for that. If you have a police vulnerable records check from another sport, and it's still valid, then we will accept that. You don't have to get one just for the Dragons. Other form is at U8 and up. We have U8 and up because that's when we have our referees. There's a game sheet to be filled out at every game, signed and handed to the referee before the game. So the referee indicates on the game sheet who scores, if there are any yellow or red cards handed out. In our league, there are very few cards handed out, but it does happen sometimes at U16 boys. There can be a few yellow cards. And an injury report form in case of injury. That happens very rarely, but you can send a message to the office and we will send you the form to complete. A bit about the coaching incentive program. So it's for U7 to head coaches for U7 to U18, as I mentioned. Oops, maybe I missed one here. Yes, I missed this one. Yeah, sorry about that. I missed this one here. So the objective of the coach incentive program is to try to encourage coaches to take the appropriate training from Soccer Canada to provide the right training at the right age to the kids. Little story, when I first started coaching, I played soccer for a long time. My kids' first child becomes 5 years old. I sign up to be a coach with the Dragons. My first practice, I go out with the 5-year-old kids and I set up this drill where they have to pass the ball back and forth to each other. Okay. So if you've taken a coaching course, you know that doesn't work because at 5 years old, the kids do not pass the ball. They don't want to give up the ball. They want to play with the ball. The following weekend, I took the Canada soccer training that the Dragons offered at the time, that we still offer, and I learned all of that stuff, what to teach at the different age groups. So that was very helpful. You always learn something at these coaching clinics. They are run by certified coaches from Ontario Soccer, following Canada Soccer's long-term player development philosophy. So if you're the head coach of the team from U7 and above, and you take that training and you take the Respect in Sport course online, then at the end of the year, we refund you the early bird registration cost for your child. So basically, your child can play for free if you accept to be the head coach and take the appropriate training. How it works is you register and pay for the courses online. After completing the courses, print your receipt and your certificate and email them to the office, and we will refund you your fee. Generally, we do this at the end of the season when our office manager processes all the refunds. We don't do it on a daily basis. So just be aware of that. Here's a little to-do checklist before the season and at the middle of the season, at the end of the season. So before the start of the season, and you may have already started your season because practice is for most groups started this week, but active start starts next week. And the U7, U8 will start on this Friday. So if you are already the coach, you should have received your team roster and practice field location from your age group director. Send an introductory email to players' parents, and request an email confirmation. If you don't get an email confirmation back, I suggest you give them a telephone call, but most parents will email you back. Pick up your coaching bag. So that was May the 10th, I believe. So if you haven't picked up the coaching bag, there's still a few of them left in the office. Contact the age group director and come in and pick up the bag. At the start of the season, organize assistant coaches, team manager, and replacement during absences. So I wanted to touch on this a little bit. You volunteered, perhaps you volunteered to be an assistant coach, and you got an email from the age group director saying, we don't have a coach for the team. Can you be the head coach? Or your arm was kind of twisted into being the head coach. It is not your responsibility to be the sole person that manages the team for the whole year. The first practice that you have, or one of the first practices, ask the parents to come and have a little chat with them. Say, you volunteered to step forward to coach the team or to help out the team. You're going to be going on holidays at a certain point in the summer. You're going to need somebody to help out. You could ask for other coaches to help you as assistant coaches. Whenever they're at practice, they could help you. Just even people that if you're doing some shooting and the balls go behind the net, you could have parents kick the balls back out from behind the net, things like that. Some parents will like to get involved. And many parents will be involved as long as they're not the person responsible for the team. So you'll often find that as soon as the first person volunteers to be the coach, then all these other parents will want to help out. So do that. Ask for help. We are all volunteers. You guys are volunteers. I'm a volunteer. Marie's a volunteer. We rely on volunteers to do it. And so it'll be very rewarding at the end of the year. Introduce yourself as well to assistant coaches, team manager at first practice. Okay, and distribute uniforms. Just a little note here. You might have already done this, but if not, there are different sizes of uniforms in the kit. Maybe the kids want the favorite number, but the favorite number happens to be a wrong size for them. What I used to do as a coach was line up the kids shortest to tallest or tallest to shortest and hand them the uniforms out like that. The lower numbers tend to be the smaller sizes, but just be aware that there are different sizes. And so we want to make sure that the kids have a uniform that's the appropriate size for them. We don't have a ton of extra uniforms. They're all ordered months ago. So we try to do with what we have. So if you have the shortest kid on the team wants the biggest uniform because that's his favorite number or her favorite number, then avoid that because that can cause problems. What else have we got here? During the season, so send out practice and game reminders. However, now with our Sports Engine app, people can download the app and they should be able to get access to when their practices and games are. But it's maybe not a bad idea to send out practice and game reminders to the team via email. Prepare a training plan before each practice. Note that on the, just a sec. Oh, I'm on the online here. Sorry, somebody came into the office. Prepare a training plan before each practice. So on our website, under coaches, all of the coaching, there's a whole bunch of practice plans provided by Ontario Soccer. So you can go to the website, and there's I don't know 14 weeks of practices there. There's also a link to Ontario Soccer's practices for that age group. And there's at least 30 different practice plans for each age group. You know, you can print off practice plan 1 for for week 1, practice plan 2 for week 2. Sorry, just a minute. Somebody said something in the chat there. Let me see what I've got. Will you be sending the to-do checklist to us? Yeah, I can send this. I'll send the presentation to everybody here if you signed up for the coaching clinic. For sure, we can do that. Yeah, you ask me questions as we go if you want to jump in, or we can ask questions at the end, but feel free to jump in and ask questions if I touch on something here that you want to ask a question about, okay? So just turn your mic on and jump in there. During the session, send out communicate positions and tactics to players before and during the game. Fill out the game sheet, submit to the referee for U8 and up.
Hi, Dave. This is
Yeah.
Merton Terrio, if you can hear me. Yeah, just on the the drills and stuff and the levels, like I saw the website and I saw the printouts there for the decks, but like I'm not even sure like what the differences between fundamentals and the AS and the so I'm not sure which ones to start with. So I don't know if you were going to talk about that later, but like.
So I can talk about that. Active start is U4, 5, 6. Fundamentals is 7 and 8. Learn to train is 9, 10, 11, 12, I think. Yeah. 12. Yep. And soccer for life is U13 and up. So I'm not sure what you're coaching. For the U4, 5, and 6, the coaches do not need the practice plan. Okay, the active start program. We have practice plans organized already for U4, 5, and 6. We have, there's going to be a lead coach at each field, one of the board members or somebody from the Dragons, an older youth coach that's been with us for a number of years. And we have what we call game leaders, which are youth coaches who are going to be running 4 stations. And your job as a parent coach at 4, 5, and 6 is simply to accompany your kids through the different stations, and the game leaders that have been organized by the Dragons will be running the sessions. Okay, so at U4, 5, and 6 as a coach, you are there, as Marie says there, you are there more for crowd control and encouraging the kids to participate, because sometimes at U4, 5, and 6, their attention span is very short and they would rather be doing other things. Does that answer your question? I think we're good there. Yeah.
It does.
What age group are you coaching?
I'll be coaching U8, and I was just wondering. I don't want to take up too much time here, but just wondering what other resources than the workbook and practice plan is that it? Like pretty much in the videos.
Did you want to send me an email? And I'm super happy to send you links.
Great.
So that's Marie's. That's coaching at Dragon Soccer.
My email is coaching@dragonsoccer.ca.
Say that again. Coaching
@dragonsoccer.ca.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay.
After the end of the season, or on our last, we have our weekend, what we call our soccer days on August the 23rd and 24th this year. I think it's the Saturday and Sunday at the end of your last game. All of your teams will have 2 games. So you return the equipment to our equipment tent. Attend the coach appreciation night if you can, which is sometime in September, and then offer us improvements on how we can do things better. So. Right, I'll move on to the next one. The handbook, if you look under our website, I forget which tab it is there, under About Us, I think we have the handbook, it's there. The handbook gives all of the rules for the different age groups. It's available in English and French. The topics covered, I just have a few of them here: codes of conduct, coaches, players, and parents, that everybody signed when they registered for the Dragons. So if you're coaching an older age group and you have difficulty with some parents or with some players, you can remind them that they did check off the box on the registration form for the code of conduct. The laws of the game are there for the micros, the younger kids, minis, and youth. There's information about safety, concussions, heading the ball. For example, no heading the ball at up into including U12, equipment, air quality, and our weather policy, field conditions, things like that. It's all on the handbook. Harassment policies, and really it was not very much harassment, but harassment, of course, is against referees. So it's maybe good to talk to your team if you have an older team about that. And then we talk about game procedures also in the handbook, adding in the game sheets, number of players, absence of the referee, scoring limit, what happens, tiebreakers, water break, etc., like that. So go and have a look at the handbook. Everything should be there in the handbook. If it's not, send me a message. But there's a lot of good information in the handbook. Fair play commitment for coaches. This is taken from the handbook. I have highlighted the one that I think is most important for all of us as coaches. If I disagree with an official, I will accept the decision and not argue the call. Our referees in general are also our kids. They are learning the game of soccer. I know you see on TV, if you watch any of the professional leagues, the coaches are screaming at the referees or yelling at the referees. We cannot be yelling at our 15 and 16-year-olds kids who are learning. They are going to make mistakes, like our players make mistakes on the field. It is important just to accept the fact that everybody's learning. We are a recreational soccer club. They're not going to win the World Cup, even if they're undefeated through the whole season. So we need to encourage our referees. Excuse me. We train them. We encourage them to be referees, but it's tough to keep referees if they get abuse from parents. So if you happen to hear your parents yammering at the referee, then please remind them all. So I have a question here from Martin, I believe, or Martin. Go ahead, Martin.
Hi, David. Thank you, and sorry for interrupting you. It's just on the last slide. Last year, there was a little bit of confusion just due to interpretation about whether or not hats like softball caps are allowed, and also are shin guards mandatory? And taking consideration, my team is a U8 team. Thank you.
So shin guards are mandatory. All the kids, even at U5, need to have shin guards. If you're coaching a girls' team, there are no jewelry is allowed. So girls that have earrings, the referees will be telling the girls to remove their earrings. And what was the other question? Hats. So generally, the referees will not allow baseball hats because they've got a peak on the front and there's a bit of a solid material there. But if you have a hat that does not have a solid peak, then hats are allowed to be worn. Okay, and something that comes up sometimes, we do have in the handbook, are glasses. Kids don't necessarily wear contacts when they're younger, so they can wear glasses on the field. So hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry, they can or they cannot?
For the jewelry, it used to be that they could tape it up. Has that changed?
The official rule from Ontario Soccer is no jewelry, even no taping. So I would try to encourage the girls to not tape it. I know it's difficult when they first get earrings, right? Because they're not supposed to take the studs out for X number of days or something like that. When I was younger and I coached my daughter's team at, whatever it was there, 7, 8, 9, whenever they start to get earrings, I did send a message out to the parents at the beginning saying, please don't go and get them to get earrings during soccer season. Wait till the season's over, and then they can wear them to school. But they're going to do what they're going to do whenever they have to do it. If the girls all want earrings at a certain time, so the referees at U8 and above may say no taping. Right, that's the official rule. And somebody else had a question. I forget the mayor. There was.
Hi, Hani speaking.
Oh,
As on the glasses, I didn't quite catch that. They can or they can't wear glasses?
They can wear glasses.
Okay. Thank you.
Under official FIFA rules, they are not allowed to wear glasses, but at the Dragons, because we are a recreational club, we recognize that parents are not going to be going out and buying sports glasses for their kids every year. So they are allowed to wear their glasses on the field. Okay. We did this one for the coaches. Probably worthwhile to read it, if you look in the handbook there. The idea is here, all the kids get equal participation, right? Try to make sure your shifts are done fairly. Everybody gets equal playing time. Safety type of thing. I won't go through all that stuff. It's in the handbook. For the players, same sort of thing. I will play by the rules. I will control my temper. I will be a team player. I will respect my opponents. This is all good stuff. Sometimes when they're 16 years old, the boys especially, they get a little bit hot-tempered and they don't abide by this. One thing that we're doing this year is we're adopting a new FIFA recommendation for the youth. So U13 and up, if you get a yellow card, you have a 5-minute cooling off period. The team can replace you on the field. You have to leave the field. You can be replaced, but you have 5 minutes to cool off before you come back on. And this has been implemented in high school soccer, and it's according to our head referee, it's had good success, where it tends to lower the temperature of the game immediately. Fair play commitment to parents. Yes, I will not force my child to play soccer. I will remember that my child plays for their enjoyment, not mine. I will encourage my child to play by the rules. Trying best, I will teach my child that trying their best is more important than winning, so they never feel defeated. That's important. What we want is we want the kids to improve, not necessarily win all of their games. We want them to have fun, to be active, and to come back next year so that they are hopefully active for life, like me, or maybe like many of you who are still playing soccer or another sport at an older age group. Really, that's what we want. Do's, so we'll go through this quickly. Communicate often with your players and parents. Be prepared for practice. Make it structured, active, and fun. Our motto at the Dragons is 100% fun, so we want everybody to have a fun summer. Be punctual for games and practices. Be positive, enthusiastic, and have fun. Dress appropriately. If you're going to be coaching with the kids on the field, wear running shoes or soccer shoes if you have them. Don't show up in sandals, I guess. That's one tip I can give you. At games, ask the parents to sit on the opposite side of the field from the players. That helps you as a coach control the substitutions, and the kids are not necessarily running to their parents the whole time. All players should have equal playing time. Introduce yourself to the other team's coach before the game. We're all in this together. We're all a club. And encourage your team and the opponent. Of course, we want to encourage all the kids and encourage the referee too. Always thank the referee at the end of the game if you can. Teach fair play, respect, and sportsmanship, and set an example, because they'll also act like you're acting. Do's. Do focus on player development, not on winning, please. At the younger age groups, we don't keep score. You only keep score at the youth age group. That's an Ontario soccer rule. Do know the laws of the game and read the handbook. I mean, you don't have to know the laws of the game. The referees are going to do it, but certainly you can teach the kids the laws of the game if you know the laws of the game, and they're in the handbook. It's pretty basic stuff there. So Intervene immediately if you detect inappropriate behavior like bullying, racism, foul language, or rough play. If that happens, pull the child off the practice or the game and talk to the parents. It's rare that it happens, but I guess it does happen. For U5, is it just practice or they play game as well? U5, they do 4 stations and there's a little mini game at the end there, 3-on-3 for 15 minutes. They're run by the youth coaches that we have and with the assistance of the parent coaches as well. Dues again, have a proper warm-up before each activity. If you would like to approach the referee to request an explanation of the call and not argue the call, please do so in a calm, respectful manner and maybe do so at halftime or after the game. Play is good to play, creativity and improvement, not just goals. If somebody improves, you're teaching something in practice and the kids do it in the game, then please praise them for doing that. That's what's really most important, that they've learned something new and that they've tried in the game. At the younger age groups, insist that at least one parent be present for games and practices U4 to U12. If the parents drop off their kids and there's a thunderstorm in the middle of the game, you are not responsible for looking after the kids. But of course, if there's no parent around, you can't leave the kid on the child on the side of the field. You have to be there until the parent comes back. So all of the parents, there has to be one parent that's responsible for each child. The parents can share that if there happen to be neighbors or friends and one of the parents wants to be responsible for the couple of kids, that's fine as well, but it's not your job to look after the kids if there's a problem or if somebody gets injured, for example. There's a question here from Crystal. Go ahead, Crystal.
Yes, sorry, thanks. Just on that topic about the dropping off. So I'm coaching U13, but I think our team is a blend of U12 and U13. So there is some 11, 12, and 13-year-olds. And I know the handbook says players dropped off at the can't be dropped off at the field up to 12. So I just wanted to confirm. I know there are some. I think it's fine. Like the player we have, it's a parent group, so we all know each other, so we can definitely help. Someone will be there that knows her. But just generally speaking, does that include? That's just up to 12 years old, or is up to 11?
So, well, I would say 12. That's what we have in our handbook. So.
Okay.
I mean, it would be better if there was a parent there at U13 and U15 as well, if there's an injury for the child. But, sometimes at the older age groups, 15 and 18, certainly sometimes the kids bike to the field, right? Or some of them walk to the field without their parents.
Yeah.
Just a thing on that, there's something called the rule of 2. So if you happen to be at the field and there's lightning and everybody leaves and there's one child who's left, then ask another parent to stay with you so that there are 2 parents there waiting for the parent who's not there to come and pick up their child, right? We always want to have 2 people involved with a child and not just one adult and one child, okay?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Your child will be there with you, but it's always better to have another parent at the field at the same time.
Have another adult. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure what our responsibility, like as a coach, I would just never just leave a child there alone anyway, even if they're 13. But
right,
I don't know if the parent said they're fine. I guess do I just let them?
If they're 12 years old, say, listen, the Dragons have a rule that if you're 12, you can't just drop your child off at the field. If somebody else, one of the other parents on the team want to be responsible for the child that evening, that's fine as well. So you could say to the parent, go on, if you know anybody else on the team, ask one of the other parents to be responsible for them. But maybe they need, just explain why. Explain, like, if there's an injury, in the past, whatever, 20 years I've been involved with the club, somebody's broken their arm once. They fell over and put their hand down and their wrist broke or something, so they go off to the hospital. Well, if there's no parent around to take them to the hospital, then they have to phone the parent and that sort of thing. It's just better for if there's somebody there at that age. Right?
For sure. Okay, thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. Don't argue with the referee or the other team's coach, players or parents. Don't scold the player for making a mistake. Don't run up the score. So we have this thing in youth there where we have a maximum of 8 goals. We don't want one team to win 10-0 or 20-0, etc. So we have a maximum 8-goal spread. The referee is instructed to end the game after when the goal differential is 8, and then play a friendly game after that, maybe by mixing the teams. but please try not to get to that 8-goal spread. So if you see that you're 4 goals up or 5 goals up on the other team, make some decisions like move the kids around. Somebody who scored a few goals, maybe put them in nets. Tell everybody without informing the other team. You have to do it discreetly, but tell all of your players, to only shoot with their weaker foot, for example. Things like that. There's some ideas in the handbook for that. Don't direct the game from the sidelines. Let the kids play. So don't say, like, if somebody has the ball, don't say where to pass the ball to, because they're gonna start to be looking over at you all of the time for direction. So just let the kids play. You can talk to them at water breaks and at halftime about tactics and things like that. We just talked about this. Don't leave a child unattended at the end of the game. The rule of 2, don't win at all costs, and don't take yourself too seriously. It's always, the kids will enjoy it if you do fun things. One thing that I did as a coach many years ago to encourage the kids to try something in a game that I taught at practice, like if it was a fancy move or something like that, I told them that I would give them 5 push-ups every time they did the move during the game. So they were incentivized to try to make me do 40 or 50 push-ups at the end of the game. Choose something that you can do. When I was younger, I could maybe do that, maybe not now, but that's just the kids love to make the coach pay for something like that. Yeah, so game procedure. This is just about providing a game sheet. So it ensures that only registered players participate in the game, and it also ensures that if a player has a yellow or a red card, that they serve their suspension. And it also assists the referee in completing discipline reports. So if you're coaching an older team, say, and there's a yellow card, and the referee will make note the player's name. We do follow Ontario Soccer's discipline policy. So, if you accumulate so many yellow cards in the year, you have to sit a game. Usually doesn't happen. What happens maybe is somebody gets a red card because they got one yellow or they swore at another player or something like that. Then they have to sit out a game. So it's our way to control the players who are playing, so that only the appropriate players are playing. Rowan's Law, so this is new since 2022. There has to be what's called a designated person on each team that understands the removal from sport and return to sport protocols. Really, what you really need to know is just the removal from sport. If you suspect that somebody's hit their head and had a concussion, then pull them out of the game. Inform the parent, if the parent's not there, that the child had an accident, and then ask them for to get a medical evaluation before they're allowed to play. So if you look under our website, under About Us policies, the information is there. So it's just that we don't want, if you remember what happened to Rowan Stringer there, probably heard about her, high school rugby player who had a concussion. A couple days later, she played again, had another concussion, then was hit twice in the same game because she wanted to play in the game, and then she ended up dying. So, of course, safety is the number one concern. As I mentioned, a lot of stuff doesn't happen too often in soccer, but some at the older ages, maybe they're trying to head the ball and 2 people hit their heads against each other, or somebody happens to run into the goalpost. They're not paying attention. It can happen, so just be aware of that and act safe instead of sorry there. Pull the child out, explain to the parent that you're concerned about the child having a concussion, and ask them to go and get medical advice. Coaching tools, practice plans, I mentioned under Dragon's website, under more information coaches, there's a Dragon's handbook that's there. And we're at the end of questions and answers. If I missed something in the chat, then ask me now, but I'm open. Let's open the floor for questions. If you have any questions about anything for coaching or at the Dragons, here we go. We've got one here. So go ahead, Andrew.
Hi, I'm Andrew Naimi. Thank you for the information. It's much appreciated. I'm a first-time coach. I'm doing U8 boys. A few questions. It says 45 minutes practice, 45 minutes game. Does that mean another opposing team is also having a practice, like in a field next to us, and we're gonna have a game with another team, or is this?
Yeah, so there'll be 2 teams assigned to that field, and you'll practice at one side of the field, and the other team will practice at the other side of the field. So normally at U7 and U8, you're not going to play on a full-size field. You'll probably play across a mini field, or if you're on a full-size field, you'll play kind of in between the 18-yard box and the center line. If you look in the Dragons handbook, it shows you how to set up the fields for that age group.
Yeah, I didn't understand that stuff, but I'll look at it again.
Okay. You run your practice for 45 minutes. So the kids will show up at 6:30 and you run the practice until about 7:10, because the referee will come around that time at U8 and ask you for the game sheets, that sort of stuff. I just got these texts coming in, sorry. And then the game will start around 7:15. So you can think about doing a practice for 40 minutes and then the game afterwards against the team that's there. So if in the middle of summertime your numbers are lower, for example, you can talk to the other coach before the practice starts and maybe do a combined practice together. Have all of the kids practice the same stuff together and then split up the teams and play a game. If for whatever reason one team has a full team and the other team only has 2 or 3, when you go to by the time it's game time, you should have pennies in your bag to split the team, so the kids in 2 and play the game, right? So hope that answers your question.
I think so, yeah. I do have one or two others, if I may.
Sure,
I'll
go
let
ahead.
you manage questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Communicating with parents. I know that I saw that there's the Sports Engine app for parents that either don't want the Sports Engine app or whatever other reason. What is our responsibility?
I would, you can email them at the beginning of the year. What I did as a coach is I would email them a reminder the day before each game. So you're on Friday night. So on Thursday, you could send us, I just had the same message, said, tonight, don't remember. So this is a reminder for a game tomorrow night at fill in the blank, X Park. So you'll probably have half of your games at your sort of designated home field and the other half will be somewhere else in Beacon Hill or in Blackburn Hamlet or Orleans, etc. And then just send that out every Thursday if you want. So, or at the ask if you have a parent who wants to be a team manager, designate that to them. So the first practice you have, say, listen, I'm looking for people to help out. You don't have to be a soccer star to help out. I need people to help with administration stuff. If you have somebody that wants to kind of just do the communications and manage the team and do that sort of thing, then bring them on board and have them do that for you. The coach doesn't have to be responsible for everything, as I mentioned.
Okay, I appreciate that. I guess the last question is game cancellation. So I guess that would be, if there's some reason that there's a game cancellation. I know it says in the handbook it's the referee that calls the game cancellation, but what if it's canceled the day before? How do we find out?
Yeah, so we will cancel the games at the Dragons the day of for a couple of reasons. So if remember a few years ago we had all this, not the smog but the smoke there. So if the city of Ottawa cancels all activities, then we will cancel the games. We will post on our website around 3 p.m. if the games are on or not for that evening. So you can have your parents check the website before heading to the game, let's say around 3:30, for example. Okay. It has happened in the past where around 5:30 we get a tornado warning that comes from the city of Ottawa. Okay. If we get a tornado warning from the city of Ottawa, then we cancel everything. We post it on our website and we try to communicate to all of the coaches by email that the game is canceled. Those are the two sort of situations where we would cancel all soccer activities for the night. The other times it's left up to the decision at the field. So there could be a storm in one area. If, let's say you're playing a team in Leitrim, weather's great there, but not in Orleans. At U8, it is the referee's decision to call the game. However, let's be realistic. The referees are going to be 12 years old, probably refereeing a game at U8. And so help the referees out, right? If you see lightning, you hear thunder, say to the referee, listen, I saw lightning over there. I've heard thunder. I think we should call the game. What do you think? And most of the time, the referees are going to agree with you. If you fear for the kid's safety because the referee says, no, we're going to play, make the decision to call the game. Say, listen, I can't, my team's going to go because I've seen lightning and it's time to go. So, right?
Yeah.
I think most people will be sensible, but as a parent, you can certainly make that decision
Yeah,
along with the
absolutely.
referee. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We got Crystal and then Martin up for questions.
So I have a few. I'll try and keep them brief. So I'm coaching U13 again. There's I think some U12s on our team as well. I know technically heading only goes to you can't do heading. I've never received proper training on how to teach heading. Is it okay if I use my discretion and not teach heading this season? I just prefer to err on the side of caution because I think even with U13, I think there's only a max of 5 heads per month. And I'd rather err on the side of caution.
Yeah, you can say to the kids, if it's not against the rules to head. So if somebody heads the ball in the game, we allow it. We don't stop and blow a foul down. But certainly, yeah, you can say to the kids, I'm not going to teach heading. I'd encourage you not to do heading at this game because your brains are still developing.
Yeah.
You can certainly tell them that for sure. And a lot of them are not going to want to do it either. There might only be one or two who are doing it. If somebody kicks a corner in from the side, nobody's going to want to put their head on the ball at U13, I don't think so.
Fair enough. Okay, perfect. Another one, for designated players. So last year, I know was encouraged to still let the players do different positions. Now it's U13. There's a couple, I still think they want to, I'll still rotate them if they want to, but if someone comes up, one of the players say, I want to be keeper and only keeper, is that allowed at U13? Or are we still encouraged to move them around?
It's allowed. We if they really want to be keeper, I wouldn't totally encourage it. I would say like, can you play half a game and play out? Because I just find that, they don't get as much exercise when you're in the goal as when you're out on the field. You might have some players who say, I only want to play defense because they're uncomfortable in other positions. But try them. Say, listen, like I'll play you on defense for sure, but I'd like you to try other positions because I think that you're quite capable of trying other positions. So try to encourage them on the positive side to do that.
Okay. That's great. Okay, perfect. And this one, in the handbook, sorry, I have two more in this, and that's it. In the handbook about the retreat line. So last year for U12, we thought they didn't have to do the retreat line, and we found out they did. Now, when I look in the handbook, retreat line is mentioned under U6 to 8 and U9-11, but then it says a third of the field at the very end table at the end. It's not mentioned under the older age group, anything about the retreat line. So I don't know if that was a typo or if they're still expected to retreat at U13.
Yeah, no, if it says that, I'll look into that, but there's no retreat line for youth soccer. So if you're playing 11v11, which you are at youth soccer, then there's no retreat line, but there's obviously there's the goal area that the attacking players have to be outside of the goal area, right? To the 18-yard box. So there is a little bit of leeway there in that you can play the ball to your defender inside the 18-yard box and then they can turn and send it out, and the other team cannot go into the 18-yard box until the second player has touched the ball. So if the goalie kicks it to a defender, then as soon as the defender touches the ball, the other team can attack.
Okay, perfect. And then the last question I have, thank you, is more of a coaching advice. If we get any players that seem resistant to play, especially when they're on a team maybe they didn't want to be on, as a coach, are we allowed to bench them for the, like, obviously that would be like a last resort, but if they're adamant and they're not playing well, like, I don't know what that looks like.
We don't bench any of the kids. So if they're there to play soccer, then they get equal playing time. If they don't want to play for some reason, they want to sit on the sidelines and talk to their friends, try to encourage them to play because they're there for that. And if mom and dad are there watching, they're going to come and see, like, how come my son or daughter sitting on the sidelines? And you can say, well, they wanted to sit there and talk to their friends the whole time. Well, the parents didn't sign them up for that. So you can talk to the parents if that happens and say, your son or daughter doesn't seem to be super keen and they want to come off all of the time. I'd like them to play. So I would encourage them I would put them on the field to have them play there. Like if they come to soccer, then they would get equal playing time and say, listen, it's going to be fun. Try something new. If you worked on something in practice, ask them to see, give them a small objective to do when they're out on the field. something that's attainable for them, for example. Try to make a pass with their weaker foot, or if they get the ball, take a touch, control the ball, make a pass, and just applaud them for doing something that they did well. So they gain a bit of confidence. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right. We got Martin.
Hi, David. Thanks. Quick question. In relation to another question from earlier, how many teams will be assigned to each field, just so that I can properly prepare, like how I'm going to set up the field for the practice and stuff? Like, so our first practice is at Carrière, and it's Carrière North. So will there be 2 teams on the north side and 2 on south, or 1 on north, 1 on south, and then we, like in the future for game days, they'll play together on one side, or?
Yeah, remind me what age group you're coaching, just so that I can.
Yeah,
U8. So I'm guessing that there will be 2 teams on the north, and yes, 2 teams on the north and 2 teams on the south, and you'll play against, if you're on the north that day, you'll play against the other team on the north. So you'll have a quarter of the field to run a practice, and then you'll play across half of the field.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. And do you mind if, as a coach, if we contact the parents only through the app, or you would prefer email or whatnot?
Through the app is fine. I try to use the app when I can, because people have signed up and they're on the app. And
yes.
Since we have the app, I haven't been a parent of a player at the Dragons, so I'm not sure the parent side of that, but I can send out messages to all of the parents on a team, and then they can reply to me, and I get a reply by email. So I can see, or sometimes they reply by email, or sometimes they reply in the app. So I would use the app. It's there for that, for sure.
Excellent. Yes, I do really like that resource, and I do have a lot of RSVPs, so that's good. And I'll do as you recommended there. Those who haven't confirmed, by tomorrow, I can reach out via telephone. So thanks, David.
Yeah, sure. You're welcome. Yeah, if you send it through the app and they didn't reply, you could try by email, but you could give them a phone call as well. Sometimes, they register back in January, whenever their email changes. Between then and now, it does happen, right? So, all right, who have we got? We got Mo, I think, as I see that. Mo's got his hand up. We have Crystal still with your hand up. I'm not sure, Crystal, if it's another question or forgot to take your hand down, but let's go to Mo. Go ahead, Mo.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So I'm just coaching a group of U7 girls. I think I was instructed at one point that there's no referees for U7.
That's correct. The referees start at U8. So at U7, go ahead and ask your question, but I think I might know what it is, but go ahead.
Yeah. So basically I was just asking, how does that look like? Like, are we kind of talking to the other coach that we'd be playing against and kind of deciding who does what half, or?
So what we normally do is both coaches or a parent or an assistant coach will be on the field with your team. So each team will provide one adult on the field to help manage the game. If you want to decide with the other coach that you each take a half, that you can certainly do that. But at U7, it's the first time that they go to a sort of a more of an official type of game at U4, 5, and 6. They do the stations, and then they have a little mini game at the end with the little pug nets, the 3v3. At U7 and U8, it's 5-on-5, so 4 and a goalie, and the goal is 5 feet by 8 feet, etc. So it's a little bit more like a game. And so you need to be on the field. Somebody needs to be helping them out. They're called game leaders as well. There's a kind of an hour game leader training that you can take online, I think, and basically you just have to tell them what happens when the ball goes out of play. What happens when the red team kicks it out. It's your yellow team's ball, for example. So you got to tell them about that. You kind of just control the game a little bit. If some child happens to be misbehaving or pushing some of the other players, then you have to tell them, okay, that's not acceptable. And if it's somebody on the other team, then the other coach can deal with that. If you can get a parent to help out, or sometimes it could be, like an older sibling of one of the players, like somebody who's 15, 16, who could go on the field and help them out, and that allows you to do substitutions. It's good to have help at U7, U8, or U7, because you're on the field. One parent or one coach is on the field, and somebody would need to help out with substitutions. So to get some parents involved in that. So
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome. Okay, I've got Andrew, I think. As I see, I got lots of stuff coming. Who's first? So we got Mo, and then, geez, hang on a minute there. I got stuff popping up here. So we got, who have we got that's first there? We've got Monsieur Tedio.
Sorry, the app, is this like the website, or is this like an actual app for your phone?
So it's an app for the phone. You can download a Sports Engine app. If you go into the I guess wherever you get your apps, the App Store, you can go on Sports Engine, and let me think how it works there. Maybe one of the other coaches can jump in and help out there.
Sorry, what was the question?
Coaching is about the Sports Engine app. Once you download it onto your phone or your device, then you have to hook up your, Andrew, you're on mute. You have to hook up your, connect your team to that. So you have to choose your team, I guess. How does that work? I'm not 100% sure.
I got an email that directed me to the app. I downloaded the app. I didn't log in or anything, but that's how you do it. So look in your emails with the game location. It's through Sports Engine. After that, it will say download the app. I'm trying to find the email on the fly here. Sports Engine. So
maybe Martin, you want to send us an email?
Something like this.
We can help you out with that if you want to do that. So
yeah, I'm downloading it now. I'm just like I don't know if, I guess asking all the parents to download it might be risky, or I don't know. Like it seems like
most sports parents will download any sport app because it's where you RSVP. If a parent, let's say a new immigrant, maybe I've had that issue where they don't really understand Sports Engine. I have grabbed their phone and done it with them. It's a very easy process, and once they understand where to go, how to do it, you're in and out. I have never encountered anyone adamant not to download it. If that is the case, then I wouldn't even know what to say, because it's about respecting your team, respecting the coach, letting them know their child will be or will not be there. And if they are super adamant of not downloading it, they can email you if the kid will be missing, but I wouldn't put the onus on the coach to reach out to them, because then you're setting the precedence that anyone can just miss and not let you know. So again, if they're super adamant not to download, they can email you if they'll be missing. Otherwise, I think most parents are very willing to download the app to let you know.
Yeah, okay. I will suggest that to the parents to download it, but I've been attending as a parent for the last 3 years, and no one's ever told me to download this app. So that's why I'm asking the questions. I never knew you guys had an app.
What age group you're coaching?
And I'm sure I'm not the only parent. What's that?
What age group you're coaching this year?
U8 for the first time. Or I'm coaching for the first time.
Yeah. Okay. So U4, 5, 6, probably they don't necessarily need to download the app because it's always at the same location every week, right? So it would only be maybe parents at U7 that would start to download the app at that age.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Maryse, for jumping in there. See, Maryse is active
Robin,
in the chat, I think.
Yeah, Robin in the chat. I actually think this is a great question for everyone. So if you have even a scrap of paper with you, I would write down my lines and kind of put a check mark each time they play. Right? So if you have enough to sub a whole line, that's great. That's easy. If it's really per player, checking it off as they come in or out can really help you, especially when they're all trying to yell at you to play. Hey, I want to go back on, go back on. So I mean, personally, I have a clipboard. It's just easier to manage because that's just, yeah, you get lost easily with just a paper. But that would be my suggestion, is really just either you write a line down, you write a player down, and check mark when they've played, and then just try and sub. Of course, that's saying you have subs, right? You have the other end where you don't have a sub available, and that's another problem in of itself.
If you don't have a sub available and the other team might have 3 or 4, then ask the other coach if you don't mind, if the other coach doesn't mind, lending you a player or 2 so that you can have some subs. And some of the kids might think it's fun. But probably you won't find one player that wants to go and volunteer to play for the other team. But if you want to say, I like 2 players to go and play for the other team, like somebody and their friend will say, oh yeah, I'm going to go and play for the other team and I'll play against my team. That'll be fun. That's one strategy. And in terms of sort of setting up where your kids are on the field, what I do is I either have a whiteboard and I write it down, but then you have to erase and put the child's name on, like who's playing what position. But if you have a cookie sheet and you have little magnets with the kids' names on it, you quite often get these things in the mail, promotional items that have magnets from different companies that they want you to put on their fridge and call when you want to buy something. You cut those up, you put a bit of tape on it, you put the child's name on it from all of your team, and then you just move them around on the cookie sheet so you know who's playing what position, etc. And the subs you move down to the bottom, and then you move them back up when they're playing. But that's another option as well that you can use. Go ahead, Martin. Do you have another question?
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, I'm just seeing like the information from Muggies and yourself. So now I'm in the app, no problem. But this is the first I've seen like about where the practice is, and it's on Friday. So I was under the impression, because in the past that's how it was, like an email was sent. Anyways, like at least for the first game by the league, to tell parents what to do, because now I'm worried that it's now going to be Thursday and I'm the one who has to, I don't know if they have access to this app or not, and I'm not even sure how to use it yet, but like,
I would send them an email.
Is it my responsibility at this point to ensure that all the parents are aware that this game is happening this Friday? Because I just found out right now where the game was by opening this app.
This Friday is just a practice, right? Like no one's playing a game this Friday.
Yeah, no, I understand. So I'm saying game, but I mean practice.
Okay.
So just email the parents tomorrow and say.
I know the age group directors have sent out various informations as well. I can't confirm 100%, but
well, we've received I don't want to name names. We've received an email, and there's a list of emails, like, and I'm assuming that's all the parents of the kids, but no one's said this is the distribution list for this team. So, I'm just going to reply to all and say, this is where the practice is on Friday.
You have a team list, Martin? Did you get a team list, your roster? You can find your roster. If you go onto the website and you log in through the website, you can get your team roster. It's probably also available in the Sports Engine app, but I use the website more than I'd use the app. And then you'll be able to get your roster in the website with all of the players' names and emails. And so I would suggest you email all of the parents tomorrow and say, welcome to team name. I'm Coach Martin, and I'm going to be the coach this year. Our first practice is on Friday at this field. They may know that because they may use the Sports Engine app already, but just, inform all of the parents that the first practice is Friday and where it is and what they should bring, wear shin pads, running shoes or cleats. And the first practice, you have the coaching equipment there. You'll be able to hand out the uniforms to all the kids. They'll get socks with their uniforms, so they don't have to have soccer socks for the first practice. But if they have them already from last year, then they can certainly wear them to the practice tomorrow. Does that help?
Yeah. Could you remind me on the website? I've only used the coaches page so far. So where do you find the teams?
I think you have to log in up at the top right. There's a login, and once you log in, you should have access to your team.
Okay, you gotta sign in, yep.
Sign in, yeah, sign in. If not,
Yeah.
if you tell me the name of your team, I'll send it to you afterwards. I just try to find a pen so I can write it down.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to log in here and go from there.
Okay. So it's 9 o'clock. I don't want to keep anybody who has to leave, but feel free. I'll stay if you have more questions. If you have questions during the year, you can email your age group director, or you can email Maurice at Coaching a Dragon Soccer if it's sort of like a coaching question, etc. If you think looking for ideas for coaching, watch what the other coaches do on the field as well. It's always pick up tips from watching other coaches. If you're coaching an older age group and you happen to go to an Ottawa Rapid game or a Athletico Ottawa game, go early, watch the warm up, see what they do. Maybe you can implement that in one of your warm ups. U4, 5, 6 are not going to warm up like Athletico Ottawa, of course, but you can always pick up stuff.
Why not, David? Why not?
So if there's any more questions, thank you, Maurice, for being here and looking after the chat. I couldn't do the chat and the presentation at the same time, so that was great. Appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Yes, thank you both.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for coaching. You should all have a fashionable red coach shirt that if you haven't pick one up at the office. And enjoy the season. If you have any questions, let us know. As I said, your age group director is kind of your first point of contact, but you can ask coaching questions to Maurice as well. And you can always email me. I tend to reply late at night though, because most of us, we work during the day and I'm coaching and then sort of answer emails after 9. So you might not get an answer immediately if you have an immediate question for me. You can also email our office. If you have broken equipment, I didn't mention this in the presentation, if any of the equipment breaks, just come into the office and exchange it. The office is open between 10 and 7 a.m. Monday to Friday. You might find corner flags break, for example. If they hit the corner flag with a ball, it might break, so bring it in and get a replacement part. If for whatever reason your nets break at U7, U8, I don't think so. We bought a bunch of them brand new the last couple of years. We have some in the office as well. So just don't play with broken equipment. Come in and change it. All right, guys. Thank you very much. If there's any other questions, you can email me or email Maurice, and we'll try to put this up in the next couple of days if you want to go over it again. And I'll send out, make a note to send out the slides to everybody. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys, and have fun in the
Thank
summertime.
you. Take care.
Thanks.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Yeah,
I was looking in the handbook and I'm just a bit overwhelmed by all this because we just decided to take on this team yesterday.
Thank
And
you
we
for
had our
doing
first
that.
practice tonight. And our first game is on Monday. But we have a U9 team and I'm just like, how many aside?
Okay, so U9, there are 6 players and a goalie. So you play
Okay.
7v7.
Okay.
You
And
can
then-
play like an easy formation is
3-3.
3. So just do 3
Okay.
defenders and 3
Yeah.
forwards. But encourage everybody to move up and down at the same time. Like don't have the defenders stand way at the back and the forwards
Yeah.
are up at the front and they're booting the ball back and forth. Like everybody moves up and down as a team. That's pretty
Okay.
easy. The goalies, at maybe that age, just rotate the goalie through every time there's a stoppage, or get the goalie if they can play a half. Then through the year, everybody gets a turn in goals.
Okay, so we all just
it's-
take, yeah, that makes sense.
It's not often a popular position at the younger age groups.
Had
Goals.
eight tonight that wanted to play goalie today.
Oh well, there you go. So okay,
We'll see what happens as the games
Yeah,
go.
they
but-
all want to be goalies at practice. It's
Gotcha.
a game that's the hard part to get them in.
Makes sense.
But yes,
Okay,
at the
so-
half, I recommend for sure.
Okay, and I have 14 on the roster. Is that like a typical number?
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We tend to keep our rosters at double the number of kids on the field, so that if everybody shows up, then you have a complete line change.
Okay.
And this will probably happen for the first couple of weeks. And then once people start to get into summer holidays, you'll probably have,
Sure.
10, 11
2 or
kids show
3
up,
subs.
etc. Yeah, 2 or 3 subs.
Okay.
So that's why it might seem a bit crazy at first that you're doing a whole complete line change, including the goalie, each time you do a substitution. But
And how often would you recommend that? Like I coached GCBA this winter and they did it every 4 minutes. So I don't know. How long are the games also?
Depends on the weather, right? Like if
That makes
if
sense.
it's
Yeah.
super hot, definitely more water breaks are needed. 4 to 5 minutes, like I think that's a
Okay.
fair estimate. Of course, stoppage is what's important, right? If
Yeah, we just go through the referee for that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to ask for the referee's permission and have your kids. I always like my kids to sub if they can at half because it's a little bit easier to control for the referee. So just get them to stand closer to half and then have the kids come off the field before the kids go on the field. That's another nice thing to do for the referee because otherwise there's a ton of kids moving off and on, and then the referee has to count them before they start every game. It's not so bad at your age because it's easy to count 6 and 6, but at the older age groups it's a bit more difficult. So.
Okay, I see someone else have the hand up, so I was kind of monopolizing it. I'll let them go.
It's all right. If you have other questions, go ahead, or we'll go on to Martin again.
Yep, sorry. I just I'm on the I signed in, I'm logged into the Sports Engine. I see the roster. I'm just not sure how to send an email to all parents. I see a message here, like button, and to who, and I see all players. I'm assuming it's the name of the players, but I'm assuming behind the name of the players is the parents'
Parents'
email.
email. Yeah, yeah. You can send to all. Yeah, all players.
Okay, and yeah. Okay, I just wanted to make sure about that. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for the session.
You're welcome. Glad you could join. Etienne, over to you. Etienne, you're on
still
mute.
muted.
Oh, there it is. There we go. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'm Robin's other half, who's going to be taking on this team. I couldn't attend tonight's practice because I was dealing with HOA meetings today, but we'll hopefully be working mostly together. Sometimes it might be her, sometimes it might be me. I'm not sure exactly how that works in terms of head coaching. If we just pick one of us who's going to be the head coach, or are we like co-head coaches? How would you guys?
Do you mean for the coach incentive?
For either coach incentive or just the way it works, as it seemed like there was like coaches and head coach and assistant coaches and then the managers, whatever else. If we're both coaching the team, would one of us be the head coach and then the other one be assistant coach? Would we both head coach? How does that work?
It's really not any different if you want to call yourself assistant or head. It's mostly just for the coach incentive. But since you're in the same household, again, that's not a factor either.
That's a non-issue for us. Exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, you can flip a coin. You can, rock, paper, scissors it every day. It's up to you guys, really. Yeah.
I mean, to be blunt, she's got all the coaching experience. I've got all the soccer experience. So her as a head coach will probably make more sense, where I could probably more like lead practices. But I mean, we can deal with that internally.
You're working together. So.
Exactly. As a follow-up to that, since you brought up the incentive, if I understood properly, because I missed the first couple of minutes of the presentation and I was kind of flipping through the slides to catch up, it said that to get the incentive, I guess either one of us has to go through the official coaching course or whatever. Did I get that right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the time? I know we get paid at the end of the year for that if we take it. What's the involved time in going through that course?
What age group was it? Sorry.
U9.
What's the how much time does it take to get through this course? Is it like an evening thing? Is it a weekend thing? Is it a kind of go at our own pace through it as an online thing? How's that work?
So there's an online portion that you'll have to take before the in-person. The in-person is what, 6 hours, David? Not even.
Which one is it? Is that U9? Is that what you said?
We're U9, yeah, for the two of us.
U9. Yeah. So U9 is learn to train. So that's I think it's not quite the full day. It's like 9 till 3-ish, I think.
Yeah.
2, 3, depending on the trainer that you have. So, and that's on June the 8th. So just so you know, if you look on our website under coaches, all that information is there. But as Marie said, there's a for the
online module
that you have to do first, and it's about, Maurice, do you know, is it about an hour? Is it less than an hour to do online?
Oh yeah, it's not long at all. It's gosh, I took it a few years ago, so even I forget. No, it's not long at all.
There's a coaching part of the module is like coaching soccer in Canada, and then there's online part. They're both online. It's about an hour, I think, and then you do the practical session with a certified instructor provided by Ontario Soccer, and it'll be at the Dragons office here on the 8th for your age group. And then there's also
And-
the respect in sport that you have to take for
Leader,
the
yes.
club incentive, and you can take that during the summer. But it'd
Okay.
be worthwhile to do it ahead of time, because then you can use the information that you learned during this summer, right?
Would the U9 be applicable to the younger age groups too, or would there be a different course for the younger age groups? Because we're also going to be probably putting in a couple of weeks with a bunch of other coaches, like a bunch of different parents for like our other kids' U7 team. And then again, as follow to that, like at what point do we need to take another one? It's like, is every couple of years, is it different because of like the growing skill sets, or what are we looking to involve ourselves in the next few years for that?
So learn to train is goes from 9 to
U9
12.
to U13.
So
Okay.
yeah, so if you coach this
then-
year and you coached U10 and U11 and you've taken the training this year, then it's good for the next 3 years. So you don't have to take the retraining, but we still offer the coach incentive.
Okay, cool.
And then for the younger age groups, there's a fundamentals course, which is for
U7, U8.
U7, U8. Yeah, and that's on the Saturday the 7th. It's in the morning only, or 9 to
Yes.
1. But
And if we're only going to be coaching for a couple of weeks, since we're not taking on the head coaching,
no, yeah.
like
No.
with this, we don't need that, do we?
No, you don't need it. No.
Perfect.
No.
Okay.
You can always take it if you want to take it, and we'll refund you the cost if you're the head coach there to take that. But if you're going to be parents each taking a turn, then I think
understood.
you'll probably learn a lot of sort of stuff from the Learn to Train course if you take that one. And the respect in sport is obviously good for all soccer, for all sports, basically.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Hey, thanks for the question. Anybody else there with a question? There's a few people still online. But
Just
maybe
wanted to
they
say
just-
thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, Robin. Thank you for being a coach this summer with us. Anybody else before we go? Oh, everybody's dropping off. So, all right. Thanks again, Maddie, for your help.
You're welcome.
And we'll see you on the field probably. All right. Yeah,
3 days a week.
8 days a week. Good for you. Okay.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.